Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 241, Lysis 218d to 219a. Socrates is about to explain why he is dissatisfied with the conclusion to the string of arguments that they have had, and I suspect that he's actually going to raise problems which the boys themselves should have raised, and indeed problems which his present audience should have raised, but they didn't, evidently because they're not interested in the truth, but in the story itself, which involves how to basically attract boys. Hode indigo scopomen, philos hosaneie, poterones tito philos, eu, ananke efe. Let's examine in this way, I said. Someone who would be friendly, is he friendly to someone or not? Necessarily, he said. I see we're going to have the same problem that we've already had in previous arguments, where philos can be an adjective meaning friendly, and this is with the dative, friendly to, or the noun friend with the genitive, friend of. The boy answering at this point is Menexenus. He is evidently more active than Lysis, and he is certainly more interested in argument, or at least eristic argument. Poteron un udenos heneca kai diuden, e henecatu kai diati. Henecatu kai diati. So, for the sake of nothing and because of nothing, or for the sake of something and because of something? For the sake of something and because of something. The cause because of which is already present, usually, while the cause for the sake of which is the goal, and that may be in the future. Poteron philu ontos ekenu tu pragmatos, hu heneca philos to philo, e ute philu ute echthru. Upanu efe hepomai, that thing being friendly, for the sake of which the friend is friendly to the friend, or is it neither friendly nor hostile? I don't quite follow, he said. Whenever Socrates formulates something in an unnecessarily ambiguous and convoluted way, it's pretty clear he doesn't expect his interlocutor to follow, and he wants to be able to expand. He would have had a problem had Menexenus said, yes. Ekotos ge indigo, alhode isos akoluthesis, oimai decaego malon esomai hotilego. Reasonably indeed, I said, but perhaps in this way you would follow, and I think I too will know more what I am saying. It really isn't that complicated if we remember the eristic argument we've just had, and the first argument with Lysis. The friend isn't friendly to the friend. They've already refuted that possibility eristically, and they had got to the point where the only one who would be friendly to a friend is the neither good nor bad. Here it's the neither friendly nor hostile. That's the big difference here. The same cannot be the friend of the same, which removes the possibility of the good being the friend of the good, or the bad being the friend of the bad, or the friend being a friend of a friend, or an enemy being a friend of an enemy. And all that was left was the neutral, and for some reason the neutral cannot be a friend of the bad, simply because no one wants to be a friend of the bad, and the bad won't be a friend to anybody. This wasn't really argued for. It was an agreement. Nobody wants to have any association with a bad person. Therefore, opposites can't be friends either. And if the same can't be the friend of the same, or an opposite be the friend of the opposite, we are left, as usual, with just the neutral, the neither nor, being a friend of, and not the bad, therefore of the good. It's obviously impossible for the neither good nor bad to be a friend of the neither good nor bad, because that would be the same being a friend of the same. All of this is purely eristic, it's absolute nonsense, but it's not too hard to follow. So Socrates made it sound complicated so that Menexenus would say that he doesn't follow it, so that obviously Socrates can say something new. Hokamnon nundeie femen tu iatrou philos ou chutos? Nay. The sick person, we said just now, is a friend of the physician. Isn't that right? Yes. By the way, the sick person is doing something, he is being ill, it's a participle. It's still not quite clear to me why someone who is ill would be a friend of the physician. Surely the physician should be a friend of the person who is ill. In reality, someone who is ill pays money to a physician. The physician is a technites, a craftsman, someone with a techne, and he has that techne in order to make money. This is the usual way of things in reality. In the world of Lysis, however, if we go back to the very first conversation, Lysis had thought that by becoming an expert at a techne, people would then find him indispensable. They would come to him to do the job for them. It wasn't clear then, and it still isn't clear whether the objective of becoming an expert at a techne is to have everybody being the friends of him, or simply that he then has complete control over them. It's interesting that that conversation was held without Menexenus being present, and now Menexenus is in this conversation on the same sort of subject without knowing that that was the position Lysis held. At least we see here that Menexenus seems to agree that a friend is someone who needs the services of someone else. We should be worried that Socrates has returned to this argument. Is he simply going to repeat what he said before, just to make Menexenus think again? I don't think so. I think he's going to add the point he's just made about the because of which and the for the sake of which he hadn't had in the previous discussion about the sick person and the physician. Ukun dia noson heneke huieas tu iatru philos? Nay. So, because of disease, for the sake of health, he is a friend of the physician? Yes. If we recall before, the disease was the bad thing which was in the body, which was neither good nor bad, and the person, being aware of this bad thing, wanted the physician to remove the bad thing. It wasn't for the sake of health, it was for the sake of removing the illness. The body was specifically neither good nor bad. In other words, the body had neither illness nor health in it. Perhaps this time Socrates is going to push for the aim of going to a physician or being a friend of the physician, the aim is to acquire something good. The health is good, just as disease is bad. Hedige nosos kakon, post but disease is a bad thing? How not? There we are, that hasn't changed. Disease is a bad thing. Dide hu gieia endigo agathon e kakon e udeter. Agathon efe. What about health? I said. Is it a good thing or a bad thing or neither? Good thing, he said. Here's something the boys should have pointed out in the previous argument. It shouldn't have been up to Socrates to pull this out of Menexenus. We should appreciate that this is still an eristic sort of argument. The body can contain a bad thing, disease, or a good thing, health. It's as if they are two opposite things competing for the same space, where the space is the body itself, which is neither good nor bad. Elegomen ara hos eoiken, hotitosoma, ut agathon ut ikakonon, diaten noson, tudre diatokakon, tes iatrikes philon estin, agathon de iatrike. So we were saying, as it seems, that the body, being neither a good thing nor a bad thing, because of the disease, this, that is the body, because of the bad, is a friend of the medical art or medicine. And medicine is a good thing. So far, so good. The neither good nor bad body, because of the bad thing, disease, is a friend of the medical art. This is basically what was said in the previous argument involving the physician and the body with the disease in it. Hendecadetes hugieas ten philian he iatrike aneretai, hede hugieia agathon, egar? Nay. But for the sake of health, the medical art has taken up the friendship. But health is a good thing, isn't it? Yes. Well, this is new. The sick man was a friend of the physician before, but nothing was said about the physician being a friend of the sick man. But now Socrates is suggesting that the iatrike techne, the medical art, is a friend, presumably of the sick man, for the sake of health. And health is a good thing.